and welcome along to Matchday Live here on Fox's Hub ahead of the final game before the international break. Leicester City are looking to become just the third side since the turn of the millennium to win their opening 5 championship games of the season. Enzo Maresca has made one change to the side that won last time out in the league against Rotherham a week ago. And that change is Steffi Mavididi dropping to the bench, replaced by Yunus Akgung, making his full Leicester City debut, having come off the bench at Tranmere in midweek. Here's the 11 then in full for the Foxes. It's Mads Hermansson in goal, Doyle, Vestergaard, Fass and Ricardo across the back four. It's a back four that we've seen, of course, throughout the season. Then it's Harry Winks, Dewsbury Hall and Wilfred Ndidi in midfield. And then that new man, Yunus, on the right-hand side. McAteer on the left. He, of course, got the double a week ago against Rotherham. And there in behind, Kelechi Iheanacho. On the bench, it's Stolarczyk, Justin, Cassidy, Vardy, Mavididi, Chowdhury, Fatawu, Marsal and Nelson. From a Hull City point of view, they made 4 signings on deadline day last night. In came Morton, Furlong, Philogene and Adeynik. Unsurprisingly though, none of those feature today. They're also without their top scorer this season, Ozan Tufan, who picked up a knock in training this week. They played just over a week ago as they drew at home to Bristol City on Friday night, and they make 2 changes to that team, with the aforementioned Tufan dropping out as well as Sean McLaughlin. In come former Wolves man Ruben Vinagre and Aaron Connolly. Here's their 11 then in full. It's Ingram in goal, Vinagre, Greaves, Jones and Coyle across the back four, with Seri and Slater in holding midfield, Twine, Connolly and Traore supporting Liam Delap. Well, they're both the teams. We'll talk about those in just a moment. Before we do though, it is my pleasure to introduce our guest this afternoon. It's not my pleasure to introduce Matt Elliott, who's always here, but we've got former Leicester player and coach Chris Powell with us. Chris, fantastic to have you here. Have you been able to come up to Leicester much and see many games?
I haven't seen them this season. Watch them on TV when I can. I watched the Coventry game and I saw the Burton game on Sky. I always take a real interest in what's happening. A couple of new players that I know really well, Harry Winks from our time together at Spurs and England, and Connor Cody was a player of mine when I was managing Huddersfield. So I know he hasn't donned the blue shirt yet, but it's always good to see guys like that come into a really good club, and it's my pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, it's fantastic to have you along here, and Matt, good afternoon to you. It is, of course, a pleasure having you here.
I thought you were getting a bit carried away there. Happy to see me.
I had to get it in. I saw the look that you were giving me and thought I had to say something nice. You two actually go way back.
We do.
Yeah.
Strange but true. Yeah, we just reminiscing before we came on air there. Many moons ago, for a club called Epsom and Ewell, all places down Surrey way.
Yeah.
I think it was even more bizarre. Powley was admittedly only, we worked it out, he was probably about under 16s at the time, playing for the under 18s. We're playing for England on the Saturday, and on the Sunday he was on the bench for us. He couldn't get in the local Epsom. A fellow called Gary Newcombe, if you're listening, unlikely, he used to keep Powley out the team. Bizarre, but things soon changed, didn't they? But yeah, no, it's great to see Powley, good mates. We keep in touch on and off, don't we? We keep bumping into each other.
We do.
One way or another, and it's great to see how he's done in the game. Having a nice bit of downtime at the moment. He's come to cheer our afternoon up.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll have a little bit of a catch-up with Chris in just a moment. We're just under an hour, of course, away from kick-off here at King Power Stadium, as Leicester are looking to make it 7 wins in a row in all competitions at the start of the season. We're going to look at a couple new signings. Tom Cannon came in on deadline day last night. Earlier in the week, Abdul Fatawu also did. We'll hear from both of those. We'll look back at the game in midweek. It was another cup victory. The Foxes through to the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup. And we'll also hear, of course, from the man at the helm here at Leicester City, who is leading the club, hopefully, to 7 wins in a row this afternoon, which will be brilliant, obviously, if it happens today, Chris. And I'm sure, as you said, you always look out for Leicester's results, and it couldn't really have gone any better at the start of this season.
No, absolutely. I mean, when you look back on last season, how it ended for everyone, and sort of the first port of call is to sort out the managerial appointment. The club have done that, and then it's moving players in and out, which is always quite a difficult task when you've got players that want to be in the Premier League, and you'd love to keep them because you know you're going to be stronger with those sort of players, but everyone moves on, and I think the recruitment so far has been very, very good. The players like Harvey Barnes, James Maddison, obviously Timothy Castagna's now moved on this week. It's disappointing to see players of that calibre leave the football club, but you look at some of the players that have come in under Enzo, they've made their mark already. It is early days, admittedly, but I like everyone else, and especially you guys and the Leicester fans, that when you start off positively, even if you got a bit of luck, it's better to be a lucky manager and a lucky team than not. And I think the team in spells have showed quality, and I still think they're bedding in, and I still think there's more to come, and you still got the likes of Connor Cody to come into the team. Quite a few young players that have joined. Cassidy, I know from seeing him for Chelsea, and I think there's a lot to come from this squad still.
Yeah, you've obviously been in the game an awfully long time, be it a player, a coach, a manager. Does it take time when a new group of staff come into a club? So the fact that they have then won 6 from 6.
Yeah, it's kind of. I was manager of Charlton. I signed 18 players in one summer, and everyone said, "Oh, it's going to take time to gel." I said, "Well, actually, they're good players. They've been bought for a reason. If you get them to sort of play in the positions they know, and you're not asking them to do anything different, and they buy into the culture and the environment, then I can see things just going really well. It did for me. Not saying it will always happen, because you're going to have bumps in the road, and I think that's one thing that you always work out around teams is when they do have bumps in the road, how they react, how they respond. But confidence, no doubt, for everyone. A new manager with new ideas, a new way of working. If people buy into that straight away, you get results, and at the moment it's happening, and I really hope it will continue and they just carry on the way they are.
Yeah, the only difference I would say there, from perhaps your experience at Charlton, Chrissy, where you're saying you bought players to do a specific job, which Maresca will have done, but at the same time, the players that are coming in, or certainly the players that remain at the club, they have got to learn a different way to play. So that the change period, or the bedding in period, I thought might be a bit rockier than it has. I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised at the results Leicester have got. I thought from the outset, and I continue to think, that they will be a force, and they should be in this league. But I thought it might be a little bit patchy to begin with. The way pre-season went, and not knowing who's in and who's going and whichever. But the way it's gone, I think he would have surpassed his own expectations in terms of results. But at the same time, there's plenty of room for growth. Chris has seen a couple of games. He spotted it already. We've been fortunate enough to see every game. It's far from the finished article already. There's plenty of room for development, as Maresca knows, the players know. But that's a positive thing. If you're winning games and you've got room for improvement, lots of it, then the indicators are pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah, and I also think, Matt, I think you're spot on, but I'd also say that, from day one, his coaching and his coaching team, you've got them every day. You can drip feed the messages, whether that's out on the grass every day, whether that's in, the coach's room, the analysis room, where they can just look at sort of things where, Enzo wants them, where he wants them to be, where he wants the back four to be, where he wants the midfielders to be. Harry Winks, the minute he got signed by Leicester, I knew exactly the role he's going to play, because that is him all over. So obviously, they play with him being quite deep lying. Sometimes, indeed, he's been there, but now he's pushing on and scoring goals. And I think the players will enjoy it. And over time, they'll just, as you said, Matt, they'll get better and better with the coaching, with the confidence from winning games, which always comes. And hopefully it'll take them to where they want to be.
Do you think, in your experience, Paddy, so that someone like Maresca, will they break it up into sort of units as well? Because sometimes I can imagine, I know what players are like, probably less so these days, but a big team meeting, all this info's coming out, some people are switching off and nodding off and
you
whatever.
Talk for yourself, Matt. Yeah.
Players like me, But I mean, I suppose now if they break it up into, let's say, the defensive unit, or the individual even, individual plans, isn't it? So it becomes a bit more focused onto them and a bit more direct. So you take it on board, because otherwise you can. I'm sure Maresca's got so much information that he wants to give to them.
Yeah.
It will scramble their brains, some of them. So it's got to be drip fed in, like you say.
It has, yeah. But I think what I was part of Tottenham's academy against Manchester City, and Enzo was coaching the 21s.
Right.
And you could see sort of the way they played. There's elements of it here. I can see it.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
And I think what he would do would just give them a basic outrun on how he wants to build up, how he wants it to start from the goalkeeper or the centre back, and where everyone should be. And it'd be quite methodical to begin with. And like you say, some players would be
the intricacies come in though.
Yeah, and then he will stop and sort of show them certain scenarios where everyone should be. If you're not here, then you should be there. And it will be very, very sort of methodical, but what will happen is it will just become natural. You know, over time it will become natural. And like you've both said, you've seen a little bit of teething problems here and there. They will be open on the counter-attack, on transition, they will. And it's about sort of having everyone ready and prepared for when they lose the ball.
He's actually said himself, Enzo, he's almost asked for a little bit of patience from the supporters because it will take time to implement those ideas, as you say.
Yeah, no, you know what? If you're asking for patience and you're winning games, it's the best scenario. Because it is, because you know, fans, everyone wants to see their team win. And if you're trying to implement a new style and you're not winning, people sometimes don't believe in it. So actually, what's helping him and buying him time is actually, listen, we're going to play a different way to what you used to. You'll enjoy it. It will be open, but we'll score goals. We'll have some good players. We're still a work in progress, but actually, you know, his coaching style and his way of trying to implement what he wants will take time. But actually, everything bodes well from what I've seen so far.
Absolutely. It's been a very busy summer as well here, of course, at Leicester. It isn't just new management and new staff, it's a load of new players as well, as Chris has rightly pointed out. There was another one late last night. It was a late night at Seagrave as Tom Cannon arrived from Everton.
I think it's a massive club. I think everyone knows where the clubs belong, and it's in the Premier League. It's everyone's aim, and it's one that I'm now involved in, so I'm looking forward to. Credit to the manager, he's come in, you know, for a good style of play. Looks like the lad to take into it. That's my game, you know, playing on the shoulder, running behind. It's well worth the wait, and from having a looking around so far, the facilities are just unbelievable. So I just can't wait to get started.
Welcome to Leicester City, Tom. How does it feel to be sat here this evening?
It feels amazing, to be fair. It's been a long day, but it's well worth the wait, and from having a looking around so far, the facilities are just unbelievable, so I just can't wait to get started.
I guess it gives you a bit of a boost if you've had a long day and then you get here and you see all this.
That's what I mean, yeah. I was just looking forward to just getting it over the line, and I'm glad, to be fair, that it's all been sorted now and I can just switch off from stress and everything like that. It's been a long couple of weeks, but I'm glad everything's been done, and I'm looking forward to it.
There's obviously been a lot of interest in you from a number of clubs, and you've chosen Leicester City. Why is that?
Just because of the size of the club. I think it's a massive club. I think everyone knows where the clubs belong, and it's in the Premier League, you know what I mean? So I'm sure that's the aim this season, just to get back to the top and then take it from there.
Yeah, how much do you want to help the club achieve that goal, which clearly is getting back to the Premier League?
Massively, yeah, and it's even from walking around the building, so you can smell, you know what I mean? It's on everyone's mind, and it's everyone's aim, and it's one that I'm now involved in, so I'm looking forward to it.
You had championship experience last season with Preston, of course, scored goals in that second half of the season, so that's what the fans want to see from you, goals basically.
Yeah, that's what they can expect. That's my game, you know, playing on the shoulder, running behind. Hopefully, you know, hitting the back of the net, which I'm sure I do. As I've said many times, I back myself in front of the goal, so, you know, given the opportunity, I'll do the rest.
Do you still feel confidence from, obviously you went on a very good run towards the back end of last season?
That's what I mean, yeah. Obviously, haven't played, you know, much this season, but from being on loan last season to gain that experience at this level, to then take it now into, you know, the next chapter of my career, it's something, you know, I take with me and I'm looking forward to it.
You've obviously been at Everton quite a long time, since you were a kid really, so it must have been a fairly difficult decision to say goodbye, but clearly the excitement of moving to Leicester has helped with that.
Yeah, it was. To be fair, it was sad, because obviously I've been at the club since age 10, you know, met obviously friends for life, and you know, the staff have all seen me growing up and things like that, but when a club like Leicester come calling, you know, it's hard to say no, so I'm just glad to get it all done.
That was new signing Tom Cannon speaking to us late last night at Seagrave on deadline day evening. You can watch a full interview, of course, on Fox's Hub. Matt, it's an exciting signing.
Yeah, it came somewhere out of the blue a little bit, hasn't it? There's been a lot of focus on the striker area, more about departures than anything. There was a bit of concern that Leicester might be a bit short in that part of the field, but very welcome addition. Like I say, a bit out of the blue. Not too many people know too much about him. Hasn't made too many appearances, but scored a few goals in the Championship. Yeah, but when he was out on loan, but just seeing him there interview, he looks like he's got a bit of personality, a bit of character.
Confident.
Yeah, he's got a bit about him, a bit of self-assurance, and that's no bad thing. And I'm sure he'll get an opportunity at some stage. Yeah.
I mean, 8 goals in, I think it was around about 20 games when he went on loan in January, is a good return for a player playing his first real football in the Championship.
Absolutely, yeah. And the Championship level is very difficult at times, especially for a young player. But, I took an interest actually in Preston last year because when I was working at Spurs, we loaned Troy Parrott there, and sometimes he played up front with Tom Cannon, and he caught the eye. To be fair, I'm quite surprised Everton have let him go. Particularly in the position
their
they're
predicament.
in.
Yeah.
But it's a real positive signing for Leicester. Good age, as Matt said. There's something about him, personality-wise. He's not just a target man. He's a bit of a runner. He will work, and he gets in the box. More importantly, so how he fits in here will be interesting. And like Matt said, there's all this talk about Daka and maybe 1 or 2 players go in, but that hasn't happened. He's added to the squad, which I think will just make them even stronger.
Yeah, Leicester, strangely, they're almost like stacked in that position now, aren't they? Really, especially when they only play the one striker more often than not. But we've seen already, the sort of contrasting roles, and the Vardy plays in comparison to Iheanacho. One's more adept at other things than the other. But I'll be honest, I haven't seen Cannon play, but Powell talking about him there, knows about it. He looks like he's somewhat in between, would you say? In between like a Vardy and Iheanacho. So with a bit more physical presence, maybe. For Leicester to have that option. But listen, I like players that come in, like I say, we mentioned his personality already, you can see that, that's quite evident, but he's going to be hungry to prove a point and coming into the division. The Championship's probably the right level for him to develop like that, and hopefully he'll develop as Leicester reevaluate and get themselves ultimately back to where they want to be, and he can well be part of that, can't he?
Yeah, you even hear in the full interview that he speaks about the fact that he's coming into a winning team and a winning dressing room, a winning mentality. As a player signing for a club that have won 6 from 6 at the start of the season must be very exciting.
Oh, it helps for sure. He knows he's coming into a positive environment where people are winning games. You've got a new coach, and a new coach has brought him to come in and join the journey, hopefully back to where everyone wants to be. So that's going to help him. And as a young player, the loan to Preston last year would definitely help him and his mindset and how he feels that he can fit in here. So real good signing. I think that's quite positive because sometimes you don't get those sort of signings from the Premier League. A player that's already scored goals at the level. They normally cost a bit more, and also normally you might just get them on loan. But now he's a Leicester City player, and he can settle in very quickly and hit the ground running, and hopefully score some goals for his own confidence.
I don't know why, but I'm picturing Jamie Vardy taking him under his wing. Now, what better man to learn from? But also, character-wise, I think they'll probably get on and end up going out socially as well as professionally. I don't know, but
well, if he scores half the amount of goals Jamie Vardy does, then it's a great signing.
Absolutely.
Tom Cannon wasn't the only arrival at Leicester City this week. Of course, we saw the introduction of Yunus Akgun, didn't we, in midweek against Tranmere. There was also a signing. Abdul Fatawu has arrived on loan as well.
So happy, and this is an amazing moment for me. The coach told me how he wants to guide me, so I think I'm just happy to be here. This will be the the best moment for me in my career.
Abdul, welcome. You're now a Leicester City player. How does it feel to be here?
Actually, I'm so happy, and this is an amazing moment for me, and I think I'm happy to be here.
Why did you feel like this was the right next step for you? Obviously, you're coming over from Portugal. Why was this the right move for you?
For me, from the look of Leicester and how I talked with the coach, I think here was the best for me. I chose Leicester because I think they can grow me well, and I get more mature than, yeah.
You mentioned about speaking to the manager, Enzo Maresca. What did he say to you?
Actually, he told me about the plans he got for me and how he wanted me to play, and so I think that was the best for me, so that's why I chose here.
And you've had a chance to look around the facilities here at the training ground. What have you made of it? What has been your first impressions of this?
For me, here, I think here is the best place for me to be, because the facilities I saw is the best, and I was so happy to see this, so I'm very happy.
And playing in England for the first time in your career, how do you envisage it being different maybe from your previous experiences in Portugal?
Actually, it's just the weather, yeah, but I love being played in cold weather, so I think it's good for me, yeah, so I'm happy to be here.
And in terms of on the pitch as well, I guess there might be some shifts in the style of play that you're asked to play compared to before?
Yes, there's some changes, different tactics, and as I said, I've already talked with the coach, and he's ready to guide me throughout all this, so it's okay for me.
That was new signing there, Abdul Fatawu, speaking ahead of his move on loan here to Leicester City. He finds himself on the bench today. We'll have a quick reminder of the Leicester City side this afternoon. Too early for Tom Cannon, who arrived last night, but Yunus Akgun makes his full debut on the right-hand side. That's just one change from the side that beat Rotherham a week ago, with fellow new signing Steffi Mavididi dropping to the bench. Matt, clearly Fatawu is another attacking-minded player, can play anywhere really across the three behind the striker, so it's clear what they've tried to bring in during the summer, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's clever how they've gone about the business, to be fair, Leicester. I mean, obviously people departed, fair number have come in, but and they've done it, you know, quite sort of economically as well. But there's still a good look about that squad, isn't there, in this division? I mean, you just read it out there, and you looked on the subs bench, and there's one or two others on the periphery. You know, that's pretty solid at this standard, and no surprise that Leicester are where they are at the moment. But yeah, Fatawu, we talk about Cannon's personality. Fatawu's personality came shining through there as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
He looks happy to be here, like genuinely, not just going through the motions and saying the right things. You know, it's a good place for his development at this stage of his career. He's excited to be here. He looks bright, he looks bubbly, and he dresses nearly as good as me.
Oh dear. Well, let's get some proper insight, shall we, on Abdul Fatawu, not just his dress sense. His manager, Enzo Maresca, was asked about him during his pre-match press conference.
Another winger earlier this week as well, Abdul Fatawu. What will he bring to your side?
No, it's very good in 1v1, very quick, but he's born 2004. So in his time, but hopefully, for sure, he's going to help us.
Yeah, that was Enzo Maresca there with his assessment on Abdul Fatawu. So some exciting signings that have come in. Just quickly pick up, Chris, on what you were saying about Harry Winks. You know him and you know Connor Cody very well. Harry Winks in particular, we actually had Connor Cody on the show a couple of weeks ago. He was fantastic, spoke really well, of course, about coming in and being disappointed that he's injured. But Harry Winks has really settled in here as well at King Power Stadium.
Yeah, I think Harry, to be honest, needed some love and needed a belonging. It didn't go great for him towards the end at Spurs. Pochettino really rates Harry Winks, and you could see why. And then I was fortunate enough to work with him a little bit at Spurs, but also with England. And he's a real talent. He values the football, you know, and he just needed to go somewhere where they're going to play through him. And Enzo is exactly his style, his type of player. And you know, I'm really pleased for him. You know, it's a gamble because he thinks, well, I'm dropping down a division. He'd been in Italy last year, Sampdoria, but I'm sure he's looked at it and gone, well, one, it's a Premier League club in all but name and stature, and we have to work hard over 46 games to get back. And he believes in the coach, believes in himself and the squad, and you know, I just think he will be a very key player throughout the season.
He's shown that already, hasn't he? And you know, you see him; he's integral to everything. Pretty much, as you mentioned, Chris, everything goes through him at some stage or another. And he's not just there to tick things over as well. He's got a little eye for a ball round the corner, isn't he?
Yeah.
Fizzes it into the front man.
Carries it well as well.
Yeah, he's so reliable. So reliable, isn't he? And you know, when you see him up close, as we did when we were away in Thailand in the pre-season trip, yeah, his touch is sublime. It's just so natural, and it touch pass, and he's constantly on the move, etc. He's the perfect player. Like he's got enough experience there, but he's also hungry to prove people wrong, prove himself right. I don't know, whichever way you want to put it. As you said, if he's looking for love, I think he's finding it here at Leicester, from his teammates, from his manager, and increasingly the crowd. Yeah,
the supporters absolutely as well. Harry Winks has started every single game this season for the Foxes as they've made it 6 wins from 6 in all competitions. That came because of another victory in midweek away at Tranmere in the Carabao Cup.
Doyle on the left, midway inside the Tranmere half. Lovely turn by Wanya Marcel, and it will bounce in his favour. Looks as though he'd lost it, but he's away down the left-hand side. He's got 3 inside the penalty area. Checks back onto his right foot. He's got Ricardo on the edge of the box, just slightly behind him, but he brings it under control. Slides one into Yunus, then Cassaday, first time out to Ndidi. A low-driven ball, off the post, in! Wilfred Ndidi, 2 in 2 in the Carabao Cup. And that was a finish that kissed the post and rolled over the line. It was agonising for Joe Murphy, but it's delight for Leicester and for Wilfred Ndidi. The Carabao Cup is a competition he's enjoying this season. Patient build-up, lovely one-touch football. And Ndidi, it may have been a cross, who knows, but in the end it's ended up in the back of the net, and Leicester have broken the deadlock at Printon Park.
Well, that's a great finish if he's meant it for Wilfred Ndidi. That's a proper half volley into the far bottom corner. All started off on this left-hand side. And it's at that point when he pushes it past the full-back, can he find the pass? Instead, he has another touch and just unfortunately pushes it too far and out for a goal kick.
Cassaday receiving a throw and immediately sending the ball out to Yunus on the right touchline, down the line to Ndidi. He's on the byline, he sends a ball in, Vardy's header, and it's 2 in quick succession for Leicester City, and it's Jamie Vardy from close range, heading in his first goal of this season. Again, it was brilliantly worked, and at the centre of it was the debutant Yunus, who just set one up to this near side, and Vardy in space was never going to miss. Tranmere 0, Leicester 2.
Yeah, free header at the far post. This time, Sean Cassaday, lovely driven pass out the far right-hand side, and Yunus. And then it's Wilfred Ndidi again making that defence split and run down the inside right channel.
And Jamie Vardy there on the score sheet in midweek as the Foxes are through to the next round of the Carabao Cup. They've been rewarded with a draw away at Liverpool. The early bird window has been extended on Foxes Hub for those seasonal passes. It is the best opportunity to get value for money, really. You've got until 11:59 this evening to buy your seasonal pass to watch games on Foxes Hub, particularly those international audiences. You get it a lot cheaper if you do it before 12 p.m. tonight. So if you're watching us now and you've not bought the season pass, and you're in certain territories, you can do so today and watch the game with us on Fox's Hub today. Similarly, if you're watching in the UK right now, you can listen to every single game this season as well. You can either buy a monthly pass or a seasonal pass as well, which are available to you. So a reminder, the early bird window has been extended, so you have until pretty much midnight tonight to book those passes. Another win, Matt. That's all you really need to say about Tranmere in midweek. Leicester did exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah, it wasn't sort of overly exhilarating, was it, to watch, but never going to be, really. Tranmere didn't offer much either, did they? And it was a bit similar to, although probably not as impressive, but similar to the Burton game and performance, really. Burton, they totally ran the game from start to finish, so less so. But Powell spotted that. Is that the first time you've seen that goal, Chris?
Yeah.
He didn't mean it, however much he claims, but decent football, decent build-up.
He means this cross, though.
Yes, he does, exactly. Yeah, fair dues on that. And Akgun is involved there as well, as he was in the first goal, encouraging. A little bit different, came inside, linked up with Cassidy. Wilfred Ndidi played his part in both goals. Yeah, fair play to him, and he gets to start again today.
Yeah, and they get rewarded with a trip to Liverpool,
yeah, lovely.
which, I'm sure they wish that was at home. But yeah, I mean, all you can do is beat what's in front of you, and obviously some guys got some valuable minutes. They keep the winning run going. And Ndidi, I think if I'm him, I'm claiming the goal for sure. Yeah. I mean, it looked great actually. I must admit, and it's good for him that actually people see him as more deep line, but he scored a couple of goals in the cup run so far. Hopefully he can carry that on in the Liverpool game, but I'm sure he'll want to start scoring in the league as well.
Yeah, we've seen a lot this season, or certainly in his games that he's been here. Cesare Cassidy coming on for Wilfred Ndidi around about the 60-minute mark, and it's a change that makes sense, particularly if Leicester maybe need a goal.
Yeah, maybe so, because I mean he's an exciting young player. I think initially when he was at Chelsea, they played him sort of in a higher position, but I think it's well documented about the summer he's had for Italy. He was top goal scorer, covers the ground, quite an elegant player, but has an eye for the goal. And I think if you're in a tight game, and Wilf hasn't got the strongest scoring record since he's been here, but he's trying to change that because maybe that he's being influenced by the coach and what they're asking from him. But managers always want to have options from the bench that can maybe energise the team, do something a bit different, and you certainly got that with Cassidy.
Yep, Cassidy is a player that Jerry Taggart certainly likes the look of. Jerry, good afternoon to you. You're on co-commentary duty for us. How is the pitch looking? How's King Power Stadium looking? Is there the anticipation of another victory today in the air?
Well, good afternoon, chaps. It's very colourful. As you cannot see, it's very bright. So it's a perfect afternoon to get the ball rolling and try and grab another 3 points.
I'm sure you want to say hello to Chris Powell,
yes,
Jerry, who is in the studio.
Yeah, great to see you, Chris. Been a long time, my friend. I've got some good memories of Mr. Powell back at Beaver Drive during Nigel Pearson's first reign as manager here. So yeah, great to see him.
Don't repeat them, please.
I won't. My son already has. He repeated one. I don't know where he got it from, but it was pretty fruity, I can tell you that one. And it involved me and you in a dressing room.
All right, okay. Right, yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, the less of that, the better, I think, Jerry.
There's nothing sinister.
Let's stick to some PG stuff then today, the football. Leicester, as we said, hoping for another victory today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Coming up against, a Hull side who have up and down form, shall we call it. 7 points on the board. Have one away win this season in the league against Blackburn. And they've won a couple of home games as well, so won't be it'll be another difficult tie, but I don't expect anything really to change as far as Leicester coming up against this Hull side. I think in regards to Hull's tactics, I think they'll try and do the same what every other team has tried and done, and basically hit Leicester on the counter-attack. Last few games I've been impressed with Leicester in regards to their defensive shape when they have been hit on the counter-attack. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come moving forward, and playing against teams who come and try and soak up the pressure and nick the ball and then try and move it quickly up the other side of the pitch.
Thank you very much, Jerry. We'll hear from you on co-commentary duty today. Kick-off's just under half an hour away. Let's get a quick recap then of today's team news. There is a full debut on the right-hand side for the Foxes this afternoon. Yunus Akjung making his first start. So the goalkeeper is Mads Hermansson, of course. Doyle, Vestergaard, Fass and Ricardo across the back four. Winks, Dewsbury Hall and Ndidi in midfield, with McAteer and Yunus either side of Kelechi Iheanacho. The visitors, Hull City, are without their top scorer for the game. Ozan Tufan picked up a knock in midweek, so that's helpful for the Foxes. They've got Ingram in goal, Vinagre, Greaves, Jones and Coyle across the back four. Seri and Slater in midfield, with Twine and Traore either side of Connolly and Delap. There might be a 2, there might be Connolly dropping into the 10, but Connolly scored a couple of goals when they won on the road at Blackburn a few weeks ago. From a Leicester point of view, Matt, we can probably get the team back on the screen for you there. McAteer last week got 2, didn't he? From the right-hand side.
Yep.
He's on the left today. Do we think that's how it'll be? Eunice looked good, didn't he, on the right against Tranmere? You
would imagine, wouldn't you, with the personnel in that starting lineup. But interesting that the managers quite prepared to be ruthless as well. Mavididi, I think, has been a bit off it last weekend, and also in midweek against Tranmere. It was noticeable that he was hooked off. Manager said a couple were pre-planned, couple I weren't happy with. I think Mavididi would be one he's not too pleased with in that first 45. He looked a bit lackadaisical, to say the least. And such is the competition, that people will come in if you're not playing up to speed. But on the left hand, right hand side, people, it's the way these days more often than not, isn't it? In fact, it's quite unusual to have a right-footed player on the right wing these days. But so that looks the natural assumption, doesn't it? There, Yunus as well comes in particularly well. McAteer can go either way, really. He backs himself, and I like that about him. He's positive, he's purposeful, athletic, strong with it. A bit more direct maybe than Yunus. Yunus, he sort of complements McAteer's style, doesn't he? On the other flank, coming in, already you've seen glimpses of it, joining in, give and goes, weaves in, looks to get a shot off. He can probably go either way as well, but naturally comes inside. But listen, McAteer, the week before, that's 2 weeks before, isn't it? With Marcel, scores, not even on the bench, was he next game? Certainly sub, wasn't he? McAteer, you're worried, come on, he scored 2, surely I can get at least in the squad, but he's found himself in the starting lineup, rightly so. And that shows the confidence the manager's got in him with the squad that was available. I think also as well, what maybe the manager's doing is testing all his wide players and saying, you've got to perform, but actually even when you do perform, I'm going to freshen it up. So next time you get an opportunity, you best be ready. And I think looking at sort of the wide players today, I think they might regularly change, because if McAteer, as you both said, scored 2 from that side last week, he may try him on the left today initially. If it's not working, then you might see them change. But obviously Yunus comes in to allow Ricardo to go on more, and it'll be really interesting how Leicester attack it, but equally how Hull City attack it today, because I've watched a little bit of them. I know Liam, and they like to dominate the ball as well. So whether they're actually going to give up some of their principles today in respect of really building slowly, methodically from the back, they might say to Leicester, you can have it, and then we're really going to press you in certain areas, and then break quickly through Connolly, who's very, very quick. He's a player that's much admired, hasn't really taken off maybe to the level he should have done, but I think he's found a home in Hull. He scored 2 goals at Blackburn. And Scott Twine, if they get a free kick today, he's very, very good. He's shown that at MK Dons and a bit at Burnley last year. So it'd be interesting what we see from Hull, but I think Leicester will dominate and not shy away from the way they want to play the game. Yeah, that is the Leicester City 11 then. You'll notice the goalkeeper, of course, Mads Hermansson. He's played now 3 of the 4
league games. He was injured for one of them. Yet to keep a clean sheet in the league. Hopefully we see that today. He's caught up with our commentator this afternoon before kick-off.
Mads, it's been a very busy week, hasn't it, with the transfer window closing, players coming and going. How much do you follow it?
Of course, it's something we have to deal with, but it's always there. We're used to handle these things, so I'm very happy with the guys coming in. So I can see they have a lot of quality, and look forward to see them on the pitch.
Yunus is starting today. What can you tell us about him? Have you even had a training session yet?
Yeah, we had a few sessions. He also got 45 minutes in the cup game at Tranmere, so I think he's a very good player. Good dribbling skills, good on the ball, nice left foot. So I think he's a good player.
You've not been long at the club yourself. How have you settled in since your arrival in the summer?
Oh, I think it's been great. Great club, great teammates, great staff around. So everybody is helping with all they can. So and yeah, also the results on the pitch is quite good at the moment. So it also makes everything a little bit easier. So but yeah, it's been good. I'm happy.
The manager said that Hull City like to get hold of the ball, they like to attack, they're ambitious even away from home. What are you expecting from them?
Yeah, exactly what you say, that they want to try to keep the ball, to play with the ball, but that's also what we want. So I think it's up to us to show that we're the better team, and we need to control the game with the ball, and try to create chances from there. So
good luck today.
Thank you very much.
That was Mads Hermansen around about an hour ago speaking to our commentator Guy Havard. And when he's been called upon, he's made some vital saves this season, hasn't he, Mads Hermansen?
Yeah, he's looked good, hasn't he? He has looked good. Like both with the ball at his feet. He gives the supporters a Martin O'Neill phrase, the heebie-jeebies, doesn't they? At times. But so far so good. I don't want to tempt fate, but they haven't paid the price for any sort of risky business back there defensively, but it's started him well. I mean, he doesn't seem like a new recruit, does he? Like a newcomer. He seems like he's been part of the fittings for a while. We've got an intruder there coming in, they're lurking in. But and when we're called upon, he's looked very agile, very athletic, hasn't he? Very capable. As most good keepers have, got a bit of a presence about him. But he's unlike most keepers. He seems quite cool, calm, and collected. But he's really fit the bill, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it must give defenders. Obviously, you're both defenders in your time. Confidence, if you know.
Cross is possibly a little bit of a question mark at this moment.
Yeah, but which goes nice into the point. Not of what I was about to make. But you have confidence in your goalkeeper. It must give you confidence as a defender.
It does, yeah, and I think over time, people always say your back four. It's a back five. Yeah. Because you've got to include the keeper, especially the way the team are playing now. He's obviously been bought with that in mind. I'm slightly of the old adage that I'd rather they stop the goals, but I understand modern football now. The keeper is integral into that. He has to be able to, pass out in many different ways, and he certainly ticks the boxes in that respect. But Matt's brought up about the crosses. I think over time, again, that will come because he's come into a different style of football where, dominating the ball, but actually the balls will be coming from wide quite a lot, and your timing of that, and your back four, and your communication with your back four is important, and that will come, over time. The back four hasn't changed, which I think is really, really important, and it looks like he's the number one. Like you said, he's just missed a game through injury, so actually the more they play, the better it will be for him over the course of the season. Yeah,
we're coming towards the end of Matchday Live before we hand over to the commentary team. 7 out of 7 would be an unbelievable start. If they get an early goal, you can see them potentially looking comfortable today. We're getting very much ahead of ourselves there, but we know this team's capable of keeping the ball and suffocating the opposition.
Yeah, and I think even if they don't get an early goal, I think the way the team is structured now and the way Enzo has sort of communicated with the crowd, no one will lose confidence. They're a confident bunch at the moment, and they will still be doing exactly what they want to do with regards to their game plan. Of course, it might change if something happens with regards to whole scoring, etc. But I just think there's a lot of confidence around in this group, and they won't panic. And hopefully, like you say, 7 out of 7 will be a fantastic return, in early September.
Yeah, hopefully so. Thank you very much to Chris and to Matt for their company. We'll hear from you both again at half-time and then again at full-time, where hopefully we'll be talking about the Foxes going into the international break with a 100% record. Don't forget, wherever you are, there's a chance to watch today's game or to listen to it. Match passes are available. Seasonal match passes are available. There's an early bird offer which is available until this evening. Here's some more details about how you can watch and listen to tonight's game.
If you are watching on lcfc.com, just sit back and relax. If you are watching on social media, the live stream will finish shortly. If you want to continue enjoying our coverage, you'll need to head over to lcfc.com/Foxes Hub and purchase one of our game passes. If you are watching in a territory where the game isn't live on TV, you'll be able to watch a live video stream on Foxes Hub. Please visit lcfc.com/territories to check. If you can't find your location, live audio commentary is still available. You'll need to have an lcfc.com account before you purchase your Game Pass. If you already have one, please sign in and select your product at lcfc.com/Foxes Hub. Select the Buy button and you'll be taken to the payment page. Once you've followed the simple payment steps, press Continue at the bottom of the screen and you'll be taken to the Foxes Hub homepage. If you purchased a video pass, please select Watch Live from the Foxes Hub drop-down menu. If you purchased a Listen Live pass, please select Listen Live. If you purchased a seasonal or monthly video pass and the game is not being shown in your territory, please select Listen Live. If you are having a payment or technical issue, please email Leicester TV Support at streamamg.com. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the match.